You ever wake up to find a $3,500 fine taped to your front door? Big red letters screaming 72 hours to pay, or else with a threat of foreclosure if you even think about pushing back? That was my Tuesday. And let me tell you, the HOA president delivered that letter with a smirk like she owned not just our house, but our whole block. My wife Alicia just laughed and kept digging up tulips. "Honey, they're threatening foreclosure," I said, my voice going wobbly, but she barely even looked up from the dirt. She just hummed, planted another bulb, and said, "Let's see what happens." When the HOA president called the cops on us to make us pay, I really thought we were done for. But what happened after that? Man, it flipped our entire world upside down. Stick with me, because what went down that week, it's the wildest thing that's ever happened to me. And honestly, I've seen some things. 15 years married, and I thought I knew every version of Alicia, happy, stressed, angry. But this was like discovering my wife had a whole secret identity. She glanced at that foreclosure notice like it was a grocery coupon, folded it up and chucked it straight into the kitchen trash. No hesitation, no change in her face, just business as usual. I dug it back out, hands shaking, trying to explain. "Honey, they can actually put a lien on the house if we don't pay." She gave me that look. Anyone married knows the one, the bless your heart smile, and said, "I know exactly what it says." Then she tossed it right back in the trash, like we were playing a $500 game of fetch with our home on the line. And you want to talk about characters? That's when Christina Wright, our HOA president, rolled up in her ancient Honda Civic engine, sounding like it was grinding up gravel. Duct taped to the passenger door was a handwritten sign. Crayon, "I swear, ha official business." Christina hopped out, straightened her fake pearls, checked her reflection in our car window, and strutted up to our porch like she was queen of the neighborhood. She held a laminated clipboard like it was the nuclear codes, but you could see the home printer lines on it if you looked close. When we answered the door, she launched into this dramatic speech about serious landscape violations and unauthorized mailbox modifications. I'm staring at our plain beige mailbox, wondering if I'd wandered into a sitcom. Then she starts rattling off the charges: $2,000 for non-compliant landscaping because our rose bushes were half a foot too tall by her imaginary standards, $1,000 for a mailbox that was identical to every other one on the street, plus $500 in mysterious processing fees. She delivered each one with the seriousness of a doctor reading bad news. Dramatic sighs, meaningful pauses, all for maximum effect. The whole thing was so ridiculous, I kept waiting for someone to jump out with a camera and shout, "You're on candid camera." Alicia just listened politely, asking questions that would have made a lawyer proud. Not, "How do we pay?" or "Can we get an extension?" Nope. She asked, "Can you show me the bylaw about mailbox specifications, and what's the appeals process for disputed assessments?" She was cool as ice, analyzing Christina's whole scam with the focus of a chess master, not a panicked homeowner. And at the end, she thanked Christina for her thorough explanation with a straight face, like she was asking for help finding pasta sauce at the store. Christina just looked confused, almost disappointed there weren't any tears or screaming. She was expecting drama, but Alicia wouldn't give her the satisfaction. I, on the other hand, was losing my mind. I started Googling, "Can HOA actually take your house at 2:30 a.m.? While Alicia was doing yoga in the living room, totally zen, stretching and breathing like nothing could touch her. Meanwhile, I'm calculating how many plasma donations it would take to pay off $8,000 in fake fines. Who does yoga when you might lose your house? My wife, apparently either she's reached nirvana or she's lost it completely, and honestly, I couldn't tell which. 3 days later, Christina came back with more charges, escalated compliance fees, late penalties, even attorney consultation fees for what I'm certain was her Googling legal websites for an hour and billing us for it. She tacked on lien preparation fees, bringing the total to $8,000. She read off each charge with the drama of a lottery announcer, then smiled like she'd just solved world hunger. And Alicia? She invited Christina in for coffee and cookies she'd baked that morning, turning our kitchen into the friendliest hostage negotiation you've ever seen. I'm watching this thinking, this is it. We're going to jail, or at least getting sued. But Alicia kept asking those pointed technical questions, digging for the holes in Christina's paperwork with a sweet smile. That's when things got even weirder. I caught Alicia late at night in the office, not stress-eating ice cream like a normal person, but deep in what looked like federal crime research, taking notes on wire fraud penalties, interstate commerce violations, all kinds of stuff way above my pay grade. When I asked her about it, she said, just being thorough, but I saw her notes, chocolate chip recipes, scribbled next to federal statutes. Who mixes baking and criminal codes on a to-do list? Either my wife was prepping for a legal showdown or having the most productive nervous breakdown in suburban history. Every time Christina came back with new threats, Alicia hit her with more specific professional questions. Can you provide HOA board approval for these fees? What's the oversight process for disputed assessments? You could see Christina sweating, fumbling for answers, clearly not expecting to get grilled by someone who actually knew the law. Then the hired muscle showed up. Morrison, built like a linebacker in a cheap security uniform. He tried the intimidation routine, legal threats, talk of liens, foreclosure, the whole playbook. Most people would have caved, but Alicia offered him iced tea with lemon and listened politely as he blustered. Then she asked, can you clarify the legal authority granting you jurisdiction over municipal code violations? The guy started sweating, mumbling about working with local authorities. When she asked for his badge number and department, he practically ran to his car. I watched him out the window, sitting in his seat, head in his hands, like he'd just lost a prize fight. Meanwhile, I kept noticing these utility trucks parked on our street. Cable van, water department, electrical, never moving, always working, but mostly just watching our house. That Tuesday morning when the real police finally arrived, Officer Rodriguez, looking like he'd seen it all, Christina was ready for her big moment. Neighbors crowded around for the drama phones out live streaming. Rodriguez took Christina's statement, first nodding as she painted herself the victim of entitled homeowners. Then he turned to Alicia. That's when everything changed. Alicia responded with such precise legal language that Rodriguez's pen just stopped. He listened, asked questions, and with every answer, his eyes got wider. Finally, he just stared at Alicia and said, wait, are you Judge Turner Williams? Federal Judge Turner Williams. I swear, Christina's soul left her body right then. She'd been running an extortion scam against a sitting federal judge. Rodriguez backed up, radioed for supervisors, and those utility trucks turned out they were undercover FBI. Federal agents swarmed in, badges flashing, and arrested Christina and Morrison on the spot for extortion, wire fraud, racketeering. Turns out they'd been scamming 47 families across 3 states. Their house cars, bank accounts seized to pay restitution. The best part, Christina's scheduled victory post went live right as the FBI took her away, her words about teaching lessons going viral while 50,000 people watched her perp walk in a bedazzled blazer. You'd think this would be the end, but the neighborhood went nuts. People who'd backed Christina suddenly claimed they'd always had doubts. The live stream comments blew up with folks sharing their own HOA nightmares. And me, I finally realized that sometimes justice really does come knocking, especially if you marry a federal judge who can handle a crisis better than you ever imagined. So what do you think? Would you have seen it coming? Or would you have just paid the fine and hoped for the best? Drop your wildest HOA stories or your thoughts on justice down in the comments, because trust me, sometimes karma works fast. And if you loved seeing a Karen get federal justice, hit that like button. This is Echo Stories, and next time you get a fine on your mailbox, look closer at who's living behind the garden. Stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next wild tale.